Off we go now. Celtic Park with a different atmosphere and different mood to that convulsive European setting last Wednesday. And in a way, it sums up the challenge Celtic face and have particularly faced in recent times in trying to sort out their priorities. Of course, this is a competition which doesn't sit high on the Celtic agenda, but in saying so, I think they have learned crucial lessons from the past when they've come unstuck against sides of lesser ability than themselves. And given that the great rivals operated on all four fronts for most of last season, there's no way Gordon Strachan would allow his players to treat this as a soft option. And they will have been made fully aware they're faced by a side top of the division and under an Italian whose self-confidence, based on his global experience as coach and player, is obviously rubbing off on his players, as witnessed a 3-0 win at Dundee at the weekend. And a club with a track record, of course, in this competition, having won it 4 years ago when they beat Hibs 2-0 at Hampden Park. And Celtic themselves come back to Parkhead after a comfortable and professional performance against Kilmarnock, with a striker who's emerging as one of the most flamboyant players to be unleashed here in many seasons. Samaras in glorious form with a wonderful solo goal against Kilmarnock. First foul of the night, and that's Kilmarnock, Livingston, who Kilmarnock on Sunday, when you watch Celtic playing, you saw the very best of them. They were clinical and professional. And here tonight against Livingston, we'll have to employ the same tactics, the same attitude. Ball swept away to the side. Chased here by Jason Talbot. Talbot just inside. Neat little turn there. That was McFarland, Tony McFarland, who started his career at Celtic Park. There he is. Nice little touches. Good football by Libby. First shot by Dave Mackay, who came up there. Good, aggressive, confident play by Livingston. Samaras was hunting after that. You could see his eyes on the ball, trying to follow up through the middle. Played away to the side there. Glenn Livens getting his first touch. Donati. Giddy easily pushed off the ball that time. Well, you can see Livingston knocking the ball about confidently to the feet of Liam Fox. Nice little confident turn by the captain, Jimmy McPake. Where they go again. Started off very poorly in the league, Livingston, beaten by St Johnstone and Perth, and then they came back very strongly. That was an excellent result of the weekend against Dundee. As I mentioned, the atmosphere, a goodly crowd in here, and one of the pleasant aspects of the crowd tonight, I saw a lot of kids coming in. Sometimes kids simply cannot get into the bigger games and the bigger competitions. They've got to take every chance they can get, and they're seeing some of the heroes out there tonight. Paul Cadder's picking that up, a little bit slag, but he's on it. Try to make amends in that. And I'm sure Gordon Strachan has talked about focus. Keeping your eye on the ball, as I mentioned, Celtic have come unstuck against the teams they really should have trampled over. So much in the minds in other competitions, of course. Next week they're in Spain. Goalkeeper at the back, Ronnie McKenzie, well known, venerable figure. Lewin's taken out easily. Lewin's involved in that tug of war with Rangers, of course, pre-season. Here's McDonald. Nice little turn of pace again, and typical by McGeady. Donati. changes tonight with Andreas Hinkle in for Wilson, Glenn Lubens for Caldwell, Aidan McGeady for Sean Maloney, Scott McDonald, of course, for Jan Vennegood of Hesseling, Massimo Donati for Scott Brown, Paul Callis for Naka, and Paul Hartley for Mark Croesus. Another indication of the depth of quality that Celtic have. Certainly haven't diminished the quality with these 7 changes. Free kick. Picked up here. Joe Hamill sending that forward. Nice little ball inside, and there's the man I was talking about. Callum Elliott, former Hearts player, of course. He's on loan, actually. He's still in Hearts' books. At least he'll be paid this week, I think. So Livingston have begun confidently. Of course, I've been here so often at Celtic Park, and I've watched visiting teams simply set up or try to set up a barrier along the 18-yard line that simply hasn't worked. Some of the best results against Celtic here have been by teams who try to experiment a little bit more adventurous. But there is always the fear of being totally overwhelmed if you leave yourself exposed at the back, and that's what Livingston have to watch very carefully. Lubens clearly behind that. There's Paul Hartley just playing in front of the defence here. That's a good ball. Now away he goes again. Look at the pace. Very much like Rugby Park on Sunday that is. Almost taken there by Scott McDonald. Wonderful move there. Well, you know, the Greek player is a typical Celtic player. From historically, Celtic have always wanted a swashbuckling, adventurous player up front like that, and they're certainly getting it at the moment. Good emphatic tackle there by Andreas Hinkle. Now Donati, a figure of some discussion and controversy even among Celtic supporters. Never really fully established himself as he might have promised in his earlier performances. There he is, very cautious with that. Lubens trying to set that off. Now Hinkle. Must say that the player Paul Hartley, you know, when he was a player with Ray Rovers and Hibs, very, very decent player, but he really has matured over the seasons. That's more like McGeady, but he was well tackled that time. The referee, well, they call him just waving play on. Picked up and neatly flicked back by Joe Hamill at the centre of things in midfield. Callum Elliott tried to come back, and that's watched very carefully. McPake coming up to it. Trying to get that wide ball down to Caddis. Celtic with pace on both sides. Well, Livingston will have to compete for 90 minutes all the same. That's the quality of a Celtic side. Their tradition is that even though things are maybe going against them, they play to the end. That's a beautiful little ball through there. Appeals for the penalty, and he said, astonishingly, as that ball was pushed forward to Lee Naylor, that he had touched the ball first. There's no complaint from the Celtic players about this tackle coming in there. Yes, he did take the ball and took it cleanly. There was contact, but after the ball had been swept away. Corner kick, nevertheless. There by Hartley. Lubin's up. Well, either Lubin's or Stephen will come up to take that. Balls like that played into the box. I think McManus has been brilliant. I think, if I can recall, I saw him scoring his first goal with the head for Celtic. That's McDonald. Nicely played inside. Hamill again with the touch. Lubins. Well, you get the impression that Celtic are playing well within themselves. They have a lot on their plate. I don't go back and what I said about them not being complacent about this, but on the other hand, it's economy of effort as well. That's got to be taken into consideration. And again, neat little flicks. McGeady at his best, and that could conceivably be a booking. A free kick, certainly. I think much later in the game, the yellow card would have come out. Steve McManus going into the box. Just a little bit of hesitancy. A lot of depth in it. Hooked away, well organised in defence. Well, they of course have an Italian coach, Roberto Landi, knows all about how to tighten up at the back, coming from a tradition of Italian football. But apart from that, the reports are that Livingston have been playing with a fair degree of creativity, getting the ball forward, attacking, and that ball has got out. Difficult ball for McGeady to take there, but as well as he could. Well, it's been a competition, of course, fraught with every kind of peril for some of the senior teams. A brilliant play by Samaras. Needs to be touched inside. Corner kick. Well, he had Donati running right through the middle, but there again, an immaculate little touch and turn. Just before then, it was the Greek who set them up for that. An impudent little nutmeg to start with. Oh no, curl in it. Ada McGeady, a little bit short with it. Callum Elliott. Big powerful play, not a bad ball. Donati had come back all that way. Kept his cool. That's good play by Donati. Look how deep this man is, Samaras, and as he proved against Kilmarnock, he can come from the deep like a tornado. Now McGeady has been picking up a few balls from here, looking for some support. Not quite what they intended. That might be Livingston's ball, just touched away. Decent crowd in tonight. Supporters, of course, have so much to pay for in football nowadays, especially so many of them travelling in the Champions League. Big game coming up here against Manchester United, so not at all surprising that some have to be very selective about the games they watch and pay for. Donald. Normally they can link up very well. McGeady, there's McDonald again, first touch let him down. But Celtic looking more and more threatening. No good. And very often you see teams at Parkhead playing the first 15-20 minutes, you know, the adrenaline's pumping and they get going, playing almost automatically, and then as the game grows on, you feel that Celtic get on top of them and they're pushed further and further back. That's normally the pattern of teams coming, most teams coming here to Celtic Park. Boric, he takes that very languidly. McDonald trying to creep in, and he does. He's good at that. Quick feet. So has McGeady. Can he get that right foot shot in? Donati had made the run. McDonald, very neat turn. Good save. Ronnie McKenzie getting in and followed up there by McGeady. That was good play by Celtic. At first I thought it was over-elaboration with too many passes, too many touches, too many shirking the responsibility, and Donati got that shot in, and then eventually McGeady, well, he had to go for it. Samaras. It's all about pace now. Now the goalkeeper, Ronnie McKenzie, thought of coming out there. That ball's still in play. Great save. Samaras, Crowley, Predator, ready to take that. That would have required only one little touch. Didn't quite reach him. Bad pass on the defence there. You have to be very careful giving balls to Celtic like that. Caddis means business. Caddis, very, very pacey player. Hartley, you could see Samaras on the edge of the box. They didn't quite reach him. Referee thought that was Lubens coming in unfairly from the back. And Lubens will be desperate to establish himself in that defence. Well, Caldwell has been playing extremely well. Caldwell, by the way, on the bench. Gary Caldwell, very good at Hesselink, Scott Brown and Maloney are all on the bench, and no doubt will make an appearance. There's Elliott, tries to slip that through, running on the outside of him, Murray Davidson. As I said, Livia not scared of moving the ball around. That's very good play again. Tony McFarland wanted that ball played back to him. The pass by Callum Elliott just not fine enough. I think Elliott's at his best when he has the ball in front of him and is running at defences. Free kick. Well, McGeady gets a lot of abuse in football. He's that kind of player, of course, taking on defenders. Wonderful runs, and he'll have a lot of scrapes and bruises in his time. Just over 20 minutes gone. One by Hinkle. Samaras looking very tricky, gets a corner kick. You get the impression from Samaras he really is enjoying his football. You can tell that from a player, and obviously if he's scoring the kind of goal he scored on Sunday at Kilmarnock, simply boosts his confidence. He's really jet propelled at the moment. Decent ball played in and over. Well, Donati was disappointed he didn't fall neatly to his feet. Celtic, of course, have to compress so many games in. They play on Tuesday in Spain. Game of the weekend. This cup game, that should go back to the goalkeeper. That was well played by Dave Mackay. Stood his ground and gives it away. All the hard work for nothing. Donati coming up again, adventurous tonight. Decent ball inside. McPake gets right behind a corner kick. Well, Livingston holding their own at the moment. They're mostly in the back foot. But I've seen worse performances by lesser teams here at the Celtic Park than this one that Livingston are demonstrating tonight. Ronnie McKenzie, that's not where he meant that one to go. I think that's a throw. There was a kind of muted cry for the free kick. Linera with a superb, on his form, he has a superb left foot. Pulling beautiful balls in. Scott McDonald, that's what he's very good at. Confined space, he's a master of it, that's it! And would you believe, Glenn Livens, debut at Celtic Park, up he came. And I said right at the start, either he or Stephen McManus would be getting into the box in the air. And he made it look so easy. Nothing fits a player better than establishing himself with supporters with a goal like that. Now, this is the test for Livingston. Celtic could turn rampant. Maybe try and kill Livy off in the next 15 minutes, couple of quick goals. That would, I imagine, be in the minds of the players. And then just settle down for the rest of the night. Now that's the most pessimistic interpretation you could put on the visitors. So they have to keep ploughing away here. Callum Elliott. Nicely worked between Boric, who I think is going to have a very quiet evening. Hartley. Now, McDonald looks very lively tonight, very sharp. And as soon as I say that, he gives it away. But before then, he's been very good. nicking the ball about, getting into space, turning in a sixpence, as I said, if you can remember what a sixpence looks like. Now, Samaras lying deep again. Taken away there by Murray Davidson, working hard. So is Samaras, still not giving up. That's good play by Livingston. Taken away by James Talbot. Throw to Libby. Just about 26 minutes gone. Nicely inside Samaras, and Hartley took one in the chest. 6 studs. Quite accidental. You'll feel that one. McGeady. Donati. No free kick. I think he was playing for it more than anything else. Talbot again. Led by Fox. That looks like a free kick, yes. Free kick there on Rocco Quinn, who scored a goal for Celtic in a pre-season friendly in the States. Never quite established himself, of course, loaned out. Good enough player all the same. Went to Killie, then St Johnson, and now with Livingston. And a free kick, which might give Arthur Boric a little work to do. Well, Tony McFarlane has taken better free kicks than that. Again, a former Celtic youth boy, scored a couple of goals this season. Nowhere near it there. Went from Celtic to Barnsley and then Wycombe Wanderers, and back in Scotland again. I'm sure he's delighted about that. Well, you know, if you have a depth of squad and you can rotate players and you have friendly rivalries going on for positions, even in a game like this, you're going to get 150% effort. And I just get the impression that both McGeady and Scott McDonald tonight are relishing that. Here they are, first selection again. And looking very fresh, the pair of them. Beautifully played inside, just a little touch there, corner kick. Yes, there was a deflection, again Talbot coming up. And every now and again when they do get forward like that, Livy can lay the ball about like this, trying to create an opening. That wasn't a bad effort. Off Livens it came. Corner kick. No, didn't quite make it that time. A difficult ball to take. Bowler was turning away from him. Score still 1-0. Celtic looking very comfortable. Very difficult job for any Scottish manager, of course, moving from, what shall we say, a more humdrum level of competition in the SPL to be playing some of the better teams around the continent. That is a test enough, a kind of quantum leap. And they've got to bear in mind the resources they have, the economical with them. So that's why a rotation system is applicable, I think. I think James McPate has gone off. I think he must have some blood on his forehead. Referee having told him to get out and get it patched up as Livy come away again. Once again, McFarland out to Mackay. Bonnie Davidson, like this player Davidson, he's getting involved a lot. Confident young player, he's only 20. Well, in fact, Celtic may have played some of the youngsters, or the younger players, the maturing players, in the game tonight, but they had to play a reserve fixture. Well, that's a beautiful ball put through. Here's Caddis with it. Great run by Caddis. He's not exactly a striker, but he seemed perfectly composed as he went for that. And this is the man who really matters at the moment. Not only can he punish the defence with his running, but that kind of piercing passing as well. And Caddis trying to take the keeper on. Maybe a little chip over the body would have been better. Good play by Celtic. Just touched away. Callum Elliott, a little bit slack with that one. Davidson, as I said, a youngster, is only 20, getting right into the heart of Celtic's midfield. No inhibitions. Another goal now, and Celtic could really relax. It's not as if they're tense about this game, but they still have to go out and win it. And I think the quicker they do, the better. Hinkle. McGeady doing a bit of roaming, going from left to right. Just kept in by Caddis. Livingston now, I think, a bit wary of the way Celtic can come from midfield like this. Lee Naylor. There's that left foot of his, little bit of curl in it. Down to Hartley. Looked to me as if he was caught there, and the referee thinks so too. That's going to be a free kick. Late challenge there by Joe Hamill. See it there, very, very careless. A missed timing more than being overly malicious. I wonder, two of them eyeing this up. Lee Naylor with that left foot of his. Oh, he's not exactly a Nakamura, is he, from that distance? Nakamura isn't on the bench for this game. Well, Naylor came into Scottish football. I thought he had a particularly good season, his first season in the Champions League, calling on the kind of experience he's had in English football. Good, thorough, well-grounded professional. Perhaps didn't keep it up just as consistently in subsequent seasons. For example, giving the ball away as easily as that. Ah, McGeady, good position. Samaras. McPake brings it out. Parlin sweeping it forward. That's a decent ball on that far side and just touched away. That's good defending. Lee Naylor getting right back. Had he missed that, then there's no doubt Callum Elliott on that far side might have done it, because Elliott, when he gets balls played into that position, is a very good finisher. really packs a punch. Now McDonald. That's a bit of ball McDonald's got to let fly, and he does! Well, there might have been a little bobble in front of him there. The reason for the inaccuracy? Well, no, I think that's a chance he should have taken. I think he knows that himself. Nicely touched by Hamill again. Coming off Hinkle. It's been a very decent game. Celtic not overrunning the opposition, but playing confidently. Fox. A bit careless that time, Samaras. Now Scott looking away, that McGeady was busting forward there. Scott McDonald, there he is inside. Donati. Well, that's a cunning ball, that one. Samaras almost behind it. And Ronnie McKenzie hanging over Scott McDonald there. Well, apart from anything else, this game has been played at excellent pace. Donati. Celtic particularly strong coming down this left-hand side. Plenty time for Donati to look up. He can see McDonald. Throw in. Well, they may ring changes in the second half, Celtic. Although on the other hand, the likes of Scott McDonald and Aidan McGeady by what a full 90-minute run out. Here's the break. Three Livy players coming forward. Hamill. Nicely picked up there by McFarland. Good energetic running from time to time by Livingston. Fox. Searching for players around there. Talbot had come up to that, and that'll be a corner kick. Tiny little knot of Livingston supporters down to the right-hand side, appreciating even the winning of a corner kick as that was played in there. Livens behind it. Long and deep. Well, that's a decent try there, picked up by Dave Mackay, and again a tiny deflection. And there is some merit in Livingston being able to have Celtic pinned in the penalty area. Parlin putting that in, and Boric just got to it at the third effort, a little bit casual coming out for that, methinks. Albert starting on the break. Samaras wandered to the left, a break through the middle by McGeady, just a little bit unfortunate. Donati couldn't pick it up. Hamill again. Fox. Quinn, and there's a race for it, and Livens is very cool. He looks good, Livens. Looks mobile, good in the air as witness his goal, and certainly very alert to the danger lurking behind him. Talbot. Well played by Livens, got to it very cleanly again. Celtic just a little bit flat at the moment. This may change things though. Look at the pace of McGeady again. I think he wanted that ball played behind the fullback all the same. That's a decent one, and how did he miss it? Well, I suppose it's easy enough to sit up here and look at a chance like that. I just, instinctively, he's the kind of player who last season would have picked a little spot in the net for that. Other times it just doesn't seem to work. A little bit slack, and as I said, Celtic gone just a little bit flat, needlessly so. Well, they're content to knock the ball about again. Trying to get that to Quinn. Neatly taken away by Mackay. Now Talbot. Hamill. Getting towards the half-time whistle now. Celtic, I'm quite sure, as I suggested, playing within themselves. They're not at breakneck pace, not in any desperation. Get the feeling they know the goals will come. And Livingston are giving them as good a game as they can give them. Well enough organised in defence, and one or two, certainly the younger players, not the least inhibited about playing at Celtic Park, confident on the ball, so a reasonable game of football. Samaras. Donati. There's McGeady, looked very promising tonight. Thought he might just have laid that over. Samaras does get behind it. Not to any great effect, but he's in that box, threatening all the time. Callis coming back, that wonderful run by Callis, proving how fast he is, and alert to the opportunity of getting forward. Not a clinical enough finish, of course. But that's neatly taken up now. What can Celtic do here? Scott, McDonald going through the middle. And that's not far away. I think McGeady had run out of the possibilities of laying it on for McDonald, tried it himself, and that ball just sliding away from goal. You can do it with both feet, of course. Very close. Game rather flat, nobody able to get any decent possession at the moment. Possession being lost so easily. Hamill coming in at the back. German defender right behind it. Samaras, away he goes again. I think that ball had gone over. Think about this big Greek player, as he's got the length of leg and the pace. So useful in the air and on the ground, and an appreciative crowd. Celtic have played, as I said, very capably, very professionally, without overwhelming the opposition, who are, I think, maybe delighted it's only 1-0 at this stage, although Celtic could have been up 3 or 4 with the chances they had. Nevertheless, the game could be interesting in the second half if Livingston were able to pick up something unexpectedly. However, Celtic at this stage leading by 1-0 and looking good.
This weekend, live in the Barclays Premier League, the Gunners are on a tiger hunt at the Emirates.
Scintillating.
In Scotland, it's Edinburgh v Glasgow when the Jers visit Easter Road. Down under, there's NRL Eliminators and the AFL Grand Final.
Here we go.
A Magners League triple includes the reigning champions versus the European champions.
Terrific stuff.
Euro football from France, Holland and Germany.
Top class.
And the PGA Top 30 battle it out of the Tour Championship.
Oh, man.
That's all live this weekend on Setanta Sports.
I am all the choices I make in life. I am festivals, not clubs. Bronze sauce, never red. I know exactly what I want. I am an orange pay-as-you-go and get to choose a reward that's right for me.
Choose from a range of rewards created especially for pay-as-you-go customers, like free texts and free access to Facebook and MySpace on Dolphin Pay-as-you-go.
100% New York.
Weight Watchers is changing. Come to a meeting today to get your free cookbook or starter pack worth $9.95 and get your weight loss off to a flying start. Stop diet, start Weight Watchers.
Crowd of 23,569 inside the stadium tonight, which is a very respectable crowd given the early stage of the tournament and this early in the season with so many other games that Celtic supporters have to adhere to. So and a good atmosphere as well, given that Livingston are trying to make a game of it and Celtic have had their opportunities. Could have been well in front by this stage. Game does not suggest to me that they'll regret that. I think they have this game well in hand, even though there's only 1 goal in it. Another early one would kill it off. Samaras gets support from Agidi. Samaras has been linking so well, laying the ball about like that. Donati. Thought for a moment he was going to aim a shot. That's good play though. Well, Hinkelova did that. Lubins wanted to come forward, gets into the box. Linera. A lot of 1-2s being played here. There's Samaras trying to come back for that. Callum Elliott gives support though. Played now to Talbot. Good long, deep ball there. Quinn gave that away too easily, but it's a throw to Libby. Well, Livingston, of course, have come through so many perilous times financially. It's good to see them back in the reckoning again. Total Italian base to their work with the Italian manager. The coach also coached the under-21 team of Georgia, Lithuania, Qatar, so he's got a lot of experience, especially with younger players. Oh, here's a man who's delighted. Of course, he's been brought to Parkhead as a defender, solid defender, but if he can come up and nick goals as he's already done tonight, then that's a bonus. Managers are always looking for a bonus in players. Samaras, he's been left free. What's he going to do with his? Oh, what a shot! Thunderbolt. Goalkeeper right behind it. Narrowed the angle very well. Lead ball, here's McDonald. You could see what he was trying to do there. Laid back, get support from people coming from midfield. Samaras is turning out to be a really exciting contribution to Celtic and the Scottish game. Here he is again, I think offside this time. Not just his pace, of course, he's one of these characters you simply cannot ignore, with the flowing hair, good pace. Still only the one goal in it. Here's McGeady. But in there, I think he's taken a knock. That's a deflection, but Boric should get to it. That ball was played forward, and you could see that Murray Davidson has been one of the more promising of the Livy players, only intent on hitting at it. That's Quinn. Hamill, now Talbot. Turning there very quickly, McFarland is trying a little lofted ball there, and Celtic have to concede the corner kick. There's little else that Lee Naylor could have done there. Very much aware of the danger coming in from the back. Useful position for them. Boric coming after it. Samaras was there to help out, and there he is again. Remarkable performance again by the Greek. It played in. There's a little attempted touch. Boric right on top of that. McPake had come up and he has taken a knock. I think Boric realises he had to go for that, and understandably pauses and looks down at McPake. McPake, who took that knock, started off his football career as a striker, by the way, converted into a very dependable centre-back. Samaras didn't know where that had gone. He keeps at it though. Quinn. Time to turn and look around. He's got support on the left. Talbot come forward again. Pulled in there by McFarland. Now Quinn. There's a deeper ball and Callum Elliott. I think that's obviously a move they make when Quinn goes away to the left and then sends that ball diagonally towards the right. For a player like Callum Elliott to pick it up. Didn't quite come off. And it goes to McDonald using his undoubted weight there. He's a stocky little player, likes to mix it. Nobody pushes him around very easily. But but free kick to Livy. Well played. That was Stephen McManus. He's up against a tough hombre in Callum Elliott. Good pair of shoulders on him, bulky player. So it has to be physical, these jousts between them. McDonald is offside. Didn't make an effort to go after that. Celtic subs warming up behind that goal, and Gordon Strachan. I wonder if he's making up his mind for the substitution. Certainly Livingston are about to substitute. Jean Cuenca is about to come on. He is a 22-year-old Frenchman from Lyon and was the very first signing by the Italian manager Roberto Landi. Well, Livingston have always been a cosmopolitan club, signing every kind of nationality in the past. Here he is. Well, he was having a go, there's no doubt about that. Samaras comes forward, he has support. He's got McGeady, he's McDonald, and it was the wrong option. McGeady certainly wasn't covered, he had that channel to himself on the left-hand side. Here's Donati. Good run forward. Naylor. Maybe set up just a little bit too late to pick that up. Quick one. McGeady enticing the defender to come towards him. Paul Hartley. Donati, too many defenders around him coming out of that penalty area, making it very difficult for a shot. Well, Luvens has had the taste of a goal and he's pushing forward as much as he can, leaving Stephen McManus at the back, popping up on that right-hand side for Celtic. Long and deep by Roddy McKenzie. Very good experienced goalkeeper. Lots of clubs, and I think that experience, you do need that in a team that's populated by so many young players. Here's Mackey. Away goes Samaras, look at the pace. It's like an Olympic sprinter there, but I think he was doing a little bit of pulling. Free kick to Livingston. There's Talbot picking it up, a good aggressive fullback. Well, the Frenchman certainly looks very speedy, trying to get the ball in there. Cuenca, there he is again, Cuenca, that's a decent ball in. Mackay had gone forward, then Samaras puts it out. Well, I think they fear this man, and I think he's going to have a great season for Celtic, no question about it. Not just the pace, but the sheer physical effort, the impetus. Touched away, better position here. Ran out of ideas that time, McFarland. Michael doing the running, but parting with it at the wrong time. Celtic again looking as if they're coasting, but at this stage I think the supporters would like to see this game killed off. Away goes Quinn, wanted that ball played back to him. Lee Naylor held on to it well. Now Donati, Scott McDonald just in front, he's not going to get it. Crowd didn't like that pass by Donati. Quinn. That'll be a free kick, yes. Lee Naylor very quickly up on him, and the passing getting a little bit inaccurate now by Libyan midfield in particular. There may be a substitution coming up for Celtic, perhaps Scott Brown. He's being called back. I think it will be Brown to come on shortly. Just to revitalise the Celtic midfield, as I said. One pace at the moment by Celtic in midfield. I mean, on the edges here, like McGeady, and on the other side, Caddis. There's a bit of pace, but in between them it's just getting a little bit one-paced, and perhaps the occasional surges by a Scott Brown coming on at this stage will revitalise them. Another substitution, Fernando Giarrizzo this time, Argentinian player about to come on.
Substitution for Livingston, player off.
Liam Fox is off.
Number 5, Fox, the player on. 12 is Erasmus.
Throw to Livy. Free kick. Too much for Scott McDonald that time. And Scott Brown about to come on. Caddis. Good run again. He's almost away. That was quite cynical that time. Good buzz forward by the youngster, but just taken out of it. Another free kick. This could be interesting for Celtic. Several players could have a go at this. Donati for a moment looked as if he might want to take over. Samaras has come back. And it's Paul Hartley! Almost there. Very unfortunate, beautiful free kick curving in as Samaras picks it up on that far side, and Celtic at the corner. He curled this in, just about getting there, and takes the woodwork. Very unfortunate for him. That comes away. Donati. Good header by Donati, getting in right across the side of their defence. It's a deeper one this time. Again, Lubens was up for it. Here's McGeady, Celtic putting on the pressure now. McGeady, that's a tempting one. Must be, yes. Samaras. Beautifully flicked on there. And I must say, Livingston is making his mark coming into the box. He scored a goal and made another. Watch him, just the gentle touch there. And once again, put in good understanding there between the Celtic players, and Samaras, following up, scores his 8th goal of the season. And perhaps the simplest goal he's scored so far. But all credit to Lubens for the way he's come into the game so much in the opponent's box, and Donati about to go off. On comes Scott Brown. Gordon Strachan has been trying to define his progress, Scott Brown's progress in football, by using the word maturing. Becoming a more considered player. Certainly, he started off with great promise for Celtic. He didn't quite show the kind of play that we expected of him. But he's far from an indifferent player. He's a developing one, as the manager rightly says. Tremendous pace and energy and bustle. McDonald. I think the Celtic crowd are beginning to chant Leuven's name. Well, I don't think there's any way back for Livingston. Celtic could either turn on the style, get more and more, or else, given what they have to face up to in the coming days, just take it easy. Certainly cannot allow to slack. Was good play by Hartley. Eventually Caddis, then Brown, and now McGeady. Quinn went with him. Wonderful feet there by McGeady. Now McDonald, can he take the player on? He tries to. And whipped away. Scott Brown coming up. And even the presence of Brown, the players realising around him what he can play like, seems to have energised them as I expected. Side net, well worth trying. Great thing about this McGeady is both feet are powerful and menacing. The Argentinian trying to get in there, wants the ball played back to him again. Samaras. Another charge. It's the cavalry charge, look at it. Oh, goal kick. Surprising. Well, he just left defenders in his wake. Look at the way he can break up a defence. Now, I thought he was shoved there. Looked to me like a free kick. Just looking a little bit nonplussed now. Livingston. It's a better ball, almost played right to the feet of the substitute, John Cuenca. Played out wide, Talbot's there to receive. Parlin tried to take it with him, too many Celtic players round there. Livens, very clever play. Beautifully done. McDonald to McGeady. Lovely little touch through there. Liedera disappointed he hadn't taken the man on. He has looked very comfortable tonight, Livens. That was, oh well, I think that was blatant again. The referee doesn't seem to think so. Again, Caddis shows the propensity to get the ball in front of him, get the head over it, and beat his way into defenders. Again, Celtic have pace through him. And that is absolutely vital nowadays. Celtic, I think, will play this in. And do so. Well, Ronnie McKenzie had no chance with the couple of goals that Celtic got. I don't think there's any doubt that it's Lubens who'll get the attention from the media after this performance tonight. A goal and an assist from a defender, not bad. Beautifully laid on there by the Greek. McGeady, look at the pace of McGeady, this is brilliant stuff, and he scored! Desperately unlucky. That would have been one of the goals of the season. Ripped them apart and off the post. Oh, I deserve more than that. Well, it could have been 5 or 6 Celtic had. 2 will be enough, and perhaps more to follow, but it could have been a lot more. Just about 20 minutes of the game remaining. McDonald tries a little curl. Didn't quite get hold of it. I saw McDonald scoring a goal at Ibrox against Rangers very much like that, when he took the ball on that left-hand side, suddenly swiveled and curled the ball in from that angle. So he can do it. I think Libby will be thinking about another sub shortly. A little bit of activity going on down in front of us. This time Gary Miller to come on. Only 19. Joined the club when he was only 14. Been on the books ever since then. So it's a very young team. Promising young team. Now, McGeady. Blistering pace he's been showing. Didn't have enough support. That's out. Well, no. I thought that was Celtic's throw. Yeah, we're going to have Jason Talbot coming off.
Talbot, player on number 15 is more.
On will come Gary Miller, 19 years of age. Another good prospect. Of them all, I think Murray Davidson looks very good. Number 8 playing for Livy tonight. Cuenca. Just falls back again. Here he is, the player I was talking about. Davidson. Easily cut off by Naylor. Tremendous play. McGeady lays it off. Samaras. Is he going to go for goal himself? He is. Tries a chip. You could see he was trying to loft it over the goalkeeper. Didn't quite manage. Again, the pace of the man taking it with that left foot of his this time. Cuenca picks it up. Lubens comes away, looking very good. That's a decent ball as well. Samaras. Reverse pass, Brown is in there and beat away. Roddy McKenzie right behind it. A very good technical save there. You could see they tried to curl that ball beyond them. Brown was in. And look how the goalkeeper made sure that it wouldn't drop at anybody's feet. Solid save. Not putting it together any longer, Libby. Pass is going astray too often. Gaddis on that far side. Well followed up. McGeady again, he'll let fly with it. Celtic picking the spots and they will make another substitution. Sean Maloney to come on.
Substitution for Celtic player on number 7, Scott McDonald.
Scott McDonald, well, he missed his chances tonight. Scott McDonald, he could easily have had a couple. That's not quite coming off for him. And Sean Maloney, who showed his instinct for scoring against Kilmarnock, one opportunity in a tight area to swing the ball away from the Killie goalkeeper. Very good Kilmarnock goalkeeper for that. Beautiful finish. Made it look so simple. It never was. There's Mackay. He's worked hard, Mackay. Sean Maloney tried to follow up on that. Yes, a little bit of pushing, free kick. Coming close to about 10 minutes left of this game. Lee Naylor. Good running round the outside, he's not offside, and he wins a corner, Samaras. Great deal of energy in Samaras's play, and also McGeady. That was quite obvious, he wants to make a decided impression. Paul Hartley with it. Draw to Celtic. I'm sure many thoughts now of Celtic supporters is after a very disappointing start to the Champions League, can they pick themselves up against a side they know only too well, Villarreal. Played enough excellent football tonight. They have to step up a gear and step up a level, of course. This game is easily in hand now. Never was in any doubt, but second goal, and that was it. Boric, as I said earlier on, has had a very quiet evening. Might be a corner kick. Oh! Well, I think Boric was a little bit fortunate there. He tried to keep that in play. Now, had the Livy player got to it, if you watch this again and swept it over, Boric had fallen. Might have been better just to put it into the stands. McManus. Oh, there was nobody on the outside. Anticipated too much. Caddis neatly down. Caddis again. Neat little chip inside. Hinkle tries to bring it out. Back up there by Naylor. This almost inexhaustible energy that this man has, McGeady. Never stopped. Not only that, not only his work rate, but the blistering pace as well. Tremendous combination of attributes. Nice little dummy there. That's a beautiful goal, is it? It is. Scott Brown, and Celtic could do with a lot more from that man. Exactly like that. Great ball played in again by Samaras, and the coolest of finish. Now that was an exquisite goal.
Goal for Celtic scorer Scott Brown.
Now two men stand out really in this game. At the back, of course, Glenn Lubens, and then the big fellow Georgios Samaras. But not only with his finishing, of course, but with the probes, intelligent passing. They've made such a huge difference. Brown will be particularly delighted with that. Sometimes accused of not doing that often enough. He has aggression in his play, and I think it also has to be combined with timing, and he got it right there. Yes, all the elements have combined to make this a very satisfying evening for Celtic. I did say at the start they've come unstuck in the competition at this level before and had to be very wary of that. But there's never been any doubt. Celtic defence simply haven't broken sweat. It's a decent shot. Well, Arthur Boric had to look very lively there. Very good effort there. Fernando Giarizzo. Liniella tried to get that free. Be interesting to see what selection Gordon Strachan makes in Spain next week. Celtic seem to be in the mood again. No question they've shaken off that bad defeat by the Grey Rivals. Got the balance again and their appetite. And here's one of the men who's been providing them with so much of it, Samaras. Once again to McGeady. Sean Maloney, will he try a little flick round the side? Feels for a penalty and he gets it. Sean Maloney with that little shuffle that makes it so difficult for defenders. It's his movement from left to right and the turning. Let's watch it again. Yes, easily caught. Clearly caught. Penalty. And Samaras about to take this. Lining up very carefully. Ninth goal of the season for Samaras. Very coolly struck away. Celtic having missed penalties, crucial penalties in recent days. We'll look upon this man perhaps as the custodian of the penalty spot if he can take them like that. And with so little of the game remaining, Celtic have turned on the style. Just about 4 minutes by my watch. Here goes Scott Brown again, but not taking any rests. Here's McGeady. Really exhilarating last 15 minutes here. That's a decent 1-2, that's a corner kick. It's not as if Libya are crumbling, it's the quality of Celtic's piercing, probing attacks that has made all the difference. Or just laid off to Samaras, that's the last man they want to give it to. I think he fancies a hat-trick tonight all the same. He gets it. Possibility is here. Just taken away. Wonderful play again by the Greek. Certainly deserving of a hat-trick. He did everything right. Brings it in, tries to deceive the goalkeeper. Too many defenders in there to thwart him. McGeady got away to the right-hand side now. Well, there we are, the captain coming up, chancing it. Shows you the way things have been going. But if I had to pick out, as I said, two players in particular, it would be Samaras and Lubins at the back. Right down the spine of the Celtic side, two outstanding Almost given away, in fact, given away by McGeady. Here's Cuenca. And you can see the way that McMahon has just kept his eye on the ball, not mesmerised by Cuenca's changing feet. Go to Celtic. Might be some stoppage time added on, but not all that much. Nicely played inside. Well, a bit of a mishmash in there, but Brown comes away with it. Another significant factor was, of course, the emergence of Scott Brown for that goal of his, first of the season, and beautifully taken. You wonder if that will open the bank for him for more to follow. Now, Livy looking for some consolation in the game. Never given up, still kept away. Plucky performance. Maybe that sounds like damning by fake praise, but I think basically that's what it's been. Samaras. One minute of added on time. Hartley. Samaras is away again. He's going round the outside, and McPake, who's been demented by him this evening, but stuck to his task, almost taken apart again. Maloney. And McGeady. I think they would like to give the big Greek the hat-trick he thoroughly deserves, if they could, in the last few seconds. That's a free kick, surely. This may be the chance. In they will go. Now, is a hat-trick in the offing. Livingston comes up as well. There was no offside. Where were the defenders? Brown could have had a couple. Should have had a couple. The goalkeeper simply stood his ground, watched it, perhaps partly amazed it didn't find a net. And there is the final whistle, a comfortable professional win by Celtic. As I said right at the start, they've had to get their priorities right. Never the most important competition for them in comparison to others. But Gordon Strachan, in the middle of that picture, realises that they must win as much as they can, and Samaras has been selected as the man of the match. Here are the goals coming up now. Ball played across there, and Livens on a debut getting that goal. Delighted player indeed to do that. And then slipped across there again by Livens for Samaras. And that's a beautiful little ball. And what about that finish by Scott Brown? The penalty, goalkeeper no chance. Emphatic win, comfortable. Celtic looking forward to an important week now. For the final score, Celtic 4, Livingston 0.
Like football, love Setanta Sports. World Cup qualifiers, wherever you're from, the chances are we've got it on. With 2 more in October and at least 11 next year. The FA Cup starts in November. Catch every round all the way to Wembley. Our Barclays Premier League coverage continues. We've got 46 games, including the Big Four and so much more. There's 60 matches in Scotland, featuring all 4 Old Firm clashes. And we're not all about football. Setanta is the only place to see the UFC, the super fights, Calzaghe Jones Jr., Pavlik Hopkins and the explosive David Haye. Plus the FedEx Cup reaches its climax at the Tour Championship. Setanta Sports, unmissable.
Need a taxi? Dial 429 7070, then just push 1. Your taxi's on its way. Our automated booking system is hassle-free. Once you've registered, one button orders your taxi. Then a couple of rings let you know that your taxi will arrive in 2 minutes. It's that simple. To register with Glasgow Taxi's automated system, phone 429 7070 for the easiest way to get a cab.
The Celtic View is the voice of the champions, and in this week's issue, Sean Maloney tells us why he's settling back into life at Paradise. There's an exclusive interview with top scorer Georgios Samaras. Celtic legend Danny McGrain looks back on his Hoops career. And we get the lowdown on our next UEFA Champions League opponents, Villarreal. It's all in this week's Celtic View. Get your copy today.
Balcherin strong in the tackle. Colin Cameron got away from that one. Just too much on it from Larson. Celtic winning the balls though in midfield. Petrov tried a little 1-2 and there it's taken away from his own goalkeeper. Celtic menacing again. There's Sutton, he's done it. Chris Sutton scores his second goal for the club in the right position at the right time, and answering his critics in the south in the most positive manner. Oh, there he is again! Sutton with a head. And it may well be the beginning of a very prolific season for this man. Amarauchik. There he is again, almost in. Lambert just pass in. There was a deflection. I think Larson might have got a touch. Lambert took it beautifully, drilling it in. And I suspect there was a touch by Henrik Larsson. Well, they can argue about that one in the dressing room between the pair of them. Floated in there, back out it comes. Watch the drive in. Keep your eye on the ball. Yes, it was Larson. Yes, on to Sutton again. Held the control very well. That's a penalty kick. Right at the start of the half. Oh, that's unprecedented. Well, when you're 3 up, maybe there's just a lack of self-discipline. I said at the start this was going to be a very difficult match for him, but it's turned out to be easier, a lot easier than even he must have thought. Tomaszek is there, so is Severin. Oh, that's it! He took that very cleanly. Severin coming up on it. Now that had to be of the finest judgment. A cluster of players in front of him. Can't be too many spaces. Lee Smith. Wilby is there. McNamara, that's a bit of ball, and Hearts have pushed forward, left gaps again. Sutton, here's Moravcik, going round the outside, there it is, that does it. Good combination here between the pair of them, but look what he had to do yet. Remarkable how composed he kept himself, because that was a really superbly taken goal. Smith picked up that one. The ball's still in play. Neil with it. Wanjo's done it! Brilliant goal by Wanjo. Great play by O'Neill as he went down the left-hand side, and Wanjo coming in on it there. Tommy Boyd is being asked to lend his experience and maturity to a situation like this. It's Moravcik, the scorer of that superb goal, who's coming off. And Celtic will tighten up in defence.